People and to put up a fight. They know something there that they don't see. What to do about what we're supposed to be, yeah, victims of darkness. What will they do? What will they do? Victims of darkness. What will they do? What will they do? Here you go. Thank you very much.
James, could you give my friend Michael Ryan's phone number, because I don't have it.
Brian Boss?
Yeah.
Sure.
He was supposed to meet me tonight and give it to me, but he didn't show.
Let's hear it again for James Conrad.
That's not a
And now,
By the way, Michael Maggi.
announcing the grandmother of the Sacred Grounds.
Grand Poobah.
For so many years that we can't even keep track. And yet, here he is again. And it's a privilege to introduce Mr. Natural.
Seek the light. Where's the light? The light. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the ground. Yes, I've been here since 1974, and I hope very soon to learn to play the guitar.
No hurry.
No hurry. I thought I would, for a change, do some covers, which I normally don't do. And when I was, well, I'll give it away. In the late 1950s, when I was in high school, now you know how old I am, they used to have this thing called black and white television that was live. They didn't even have videotape in those days, so you couldn't videotape it. And there was this wonderful folk singer by the name of Burl Ives.
Yeah.
Now, thank you. Now, in my family, the only thing that we were allowed to put on the Victrola was either Hank Williams or Elvis Presley. My mother refused to allow anything else other than classical music once in a while to be played in the house. So I couldn't go out and buy any of the Burl Ives albums. So one of the things that I did is when I was in high school, I took a secretarial class. You know, you could take typing, or you could take this thing called shorthand. They had two kinds of shorthand, Pittman shorthand and Gregg shorthand. And I learned Gregg shorthand. And so what I found out from learning shorthand is I could watch Burl on the air live, and I could write out the words to the song in real time. And then when he would finish, I'd sit down and try to figure out the chords and you know, thumb them in. And one of the things I forgot to bring tonight that I wanted to show Danny is I found, when I was going through these old books that I did, I found Moon River done in Gregg shorthand, and a couple Johnny Cash pieces, one of them King of the Road in shorthand, and also what was it, the House of the Rising Sun, all in Gregg shorthand. Now, it's been 60-some years, and I can't read a word of it. Not one word of it. But what's interesting is there are more verses. Burl Ives used to sing all of the verses. If there was 28 verses to a song, he'd sing all 28 fucking verses. And what's happened in publishing through the years is as they're trying to teach these things to new kids who are learning, they only give you the first verse. So what happens is you miss the entire story. Sometimes it takes 5 verses, 7 verses to know what the hell's going on in these things. So as a kind of a tribute, and I took one of my favorite songs of all time is a song called More.
Yes.
And More came from a movie called Mondo Cane, which is the strangest movie in the world. I suggest no one go see it because it's filled with strange, weird religion and gross operations and weird things that people do, including strange artists who like to throw up on their canvas and put naked people on their canvas and whirl them around. And they called that modern art. They used to sell that stuff for a small fortune. But anyway, I was looking through the words and I managed to translate this. So I'd like to sing. People forget the words to this song, and the words are some of the most beautiful. How you could do this to a movie where you could have this gross movie that no one wants to see with this gorgeous theme song going through the whole thing. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give it a wail if I can read. This stuff is so faded I can barely see this. More than the greatest love in all the world, this is the love I give to you alone. More than the simple words I try to say, I only live to love you more each day. More than you'll ever know, my arms long to hold you, so my life will be in your keeping, waking, sleeping, laughing, weeping, longer than always is a long, long time, but far beyond forever, you'll be mine. I know I've never lived before, but my heart is very sure no one else could love you more. That's a pretty song, isn't it?
Yeah, great song. Gorgeous.
Now, there was a movie called The Blues Brothers movie.
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
in that movie, they played a song called Shout. And it's wonderful because you go into this church, and here's this black church with James Brown up there doing his thing, right? And there are people on trampolines, bouncing 25 feet high and doing backflips and stuff. And it reminds me of the churches on the south side of Chicago where I grew up. And it has in there a chord progression, which is kind of unusual. It goes C, A minor, C, A minor, C, shout, right? Dun, 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 dun. So I went, where did that come from? You know, see, sometimes these things come from classical music. So I went way, 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 way back and found this country western tune. I think you'll find it interesting. That used that chord progression. It goes way out here. They've got a name for wind and rain and fire. The rain is Tess, the fire's Joe, and they call the wind Mariah. Mariah blew the stars around and set the clouds a-flying. Mariah makes the mountain sound like folks are out there dying. Mariah, Mariah, they call the wind Mariah. Before I knew Mariah's name and heard her wail and whining, I had a girl and she had me, and the sun was always shining. But then one day I left my gal, I left her far behind me, and now I'm lost, so doggone lost that even God can't find me. Mariah, Mariah, they call the wind Mariah. Mariah. Out here they got a name. Out here they got a name for wind, for rain and fire only. But when you're lost and all alone, there ain't no word for lonely. Now I'm a lost and lonely man, without stars to guide me. Mariah, please blow my love to me. I ain't no good, but I need my love besides me. Mariah, Mariah, they call the wind Mariah. So when the blues was first invented back in the turn of the century, by 1925, 1926, a guy by the name of Edison had invented this thing called a recording device, and people started recording. And one of the first blues ever written was a guy by the name of Cow Davenport wrote a thing called I Ain't No Iceman, and it got recorded. And then what happened is blues was called barrel house blues. And the reason it was called barrel house blues is because black people were not allowed to congregate in public at that time. So what they would do is they'd go out to some farmer's place in their barn, and they would have a kind of a hoedown where everybody, all the black people would come to that barn, and they'd sneak in at night, and they'd sit and play blues and dance all night. And because it was a dirt floor, and they used old barrels to sit on and these old spools for tables, they called the place Barrel House. Well, later the blues split into two categories. And one of those was the blues that went to New Orleans that we've heard of, and the other was taken up by cowboys like Gene Autry and people like that, and they called it country blues. And from the country blues came that song Mariah and a bunch of other such things. Now there was a guy who had a really bad temper, and he was a brilliant musician, but he spent most of his life in jail because he kept killing people. He had this thing about stabbing people with a knife. And he was in jail for like about 10 years. They let him out. He was out 3 days. He stabbed someone with a knife because he got into an argument with them about the blues, because he specialized in playing the blues. And his name was Leadbelly. Leadbelly wound up going back to jail for the rest of his life, never to get out again. And what happened is they decided they wanted to, the Library of Congress at that time had sent people out to record the American history. And somebody said, you know, the one guy who has done the blues and has gone around and played with everybody is this guy Leadbelly, but he's in fucking jail. We can't get him here to Washington to record. So why don't we do something? We'll invent portable equipment, which in those days was as big as a truck. And they actually took it to the South, to Texas, to the place where he was incarcerated. And they convinced the warden at that time to allow Leadbelly to come in and play for a few days and sing everything that he knew, and they recorded it all and put it on a thing called Folkways, which you can still get his original recordings. And the interesting thing is, the warden didn't want him to have a guitar because he was afraid he would pull the string off and choke people. He would kill people with his guitar, right? Anyway, convinced him to let him do it, and he sat there and he played all day. 12 hours they recorded him. And then they said to him before they were leaving, well, we're going to leave now. You got anything else? And he said, yeah, I got a few more pieces. So the next day they came back and did it again and recorded for another 12 hours. And then they said, you got anything else? He said, yeah, I got a few more pieces. And they came back the third day and recorded for 12 hours. And they came back the fourth day and recorded for 12 hours. And it just blew their mind that one person could pull off the top of their head 80 songs, most of which he had written. And he was quite, I mean, if you study his music, he makes up chord progressions like nobody else. Now, a song that he did that's so popular, everybody knows the song, but nobody knows it's Leadbelly. So I'd like to please sing this little country tune for you, and it's called Irene, Goodnight. Irene, Sometimes I live in a town. Sometimes I take a great notion just to jump into that river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I love Irene, God knows I do. I love her till the sea runs dry. And if Irene turns her back on me, well, I'll just shoot some morphine and die. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I asked your mother for you. She said you was too young. After all, you're 12, I mean. And if Irene turns her back on, oh, I'm sorry, I wished to God I'd never seen your face. I'm sorry that you was ever born. Irene, good night. Everybody, Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. You cause me to weep. You cause me to mourn. You cause me to leave my home. But the very last words I heard from her was, Natch, would you sing me just one more song? All right, everybody. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Well, this is I'm the closing act.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do here is pull out of my. There's a song I used to sing when I'd host here. Oh, damn. Passwords. Who needs them? You need them to get into your iPad. Yeah, so this is a song which I call Thankful. It was actually originally written. Uh-oh, that's not it. It was originally written as a song for Thanksgiving. Uh-oh. I can find it on my pad. Ooh. Well, uh-oh. I can't seem to find it now. Just a second. Oh, I had to go back further. No, that's Tennessee Waltz. There we go. So, this is a song. I'm thankful for your smile. I'm thankful for your wink, that little twinkle in your eye. I'm thankful for the music in your soul. When I'm feeling incomplete, you make me whole. I'm thankful for your touch, the little things you do and say that always mean so much. Like always being here and always being true. For this and so much more, I want to thank you. I'm thankful for your fire, the passion of your spirit never ceases to inspire me. I'm thankful for this moment that we share, and for a chance to let you know I care. So if you feel like no one wants you, know that you're my lucky star, and I am thankful for you just the way you are. Yay! Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Have a good life.
That's it for Mr. Natural.
Really, really.
And thus ends another exciting episode of the Sacred Grounds Coffee House Open Mic. Thank you all for participating. And we'll see you next week.
Good. I'll go home.
Password.
The party, we're gonna party.
What? Party.
Party at 4.